We are in part 10 of talking about early Christianity and Orthodoxy and Gnosticism and the like, and as always, this will be under 5 minutes, so you can always push the ×2 thing if you want it to go faster. Alright, as we talk about this, one of the things we have to recognize is that Christianity shifted the religious playing field. Now, there's a huge narrative that says that Christianity was just so powerful, Jesus' message was just so powerful that it overtook the Roman Empire, and it's been dominant ever since. Even through persecution, Christians proved their faith and proved the truth of Jesus Christ, right? That's what you hear from churches more often than not. But that's not how this played out. Fundamentally, there were lots of Christianities, and when Christians decided they were no longer a Jewish movement, they fundamentally had to demonize Judaism because that gained them clout in the Roman Empire, and they had to justify the fact that, like, they're throwing these people under the bus and stealing all of the literature and scripture with them. Like, no, this is actually ours. And while the movement did start as a Jewish movement, it very rapidly became further from that. And the Pauline cult that became mainstream Christianity, fundamentally, yeah, that was a Roman religion. It's a Roman religion. And so this idea that it's like this movement westward, that it's just Jesus's truth, no, that's church propaganda. Fundamentally, what you have is you have Paul building a Roman religion in a Roman context, and even though he was countercultural in many ways, because to say that Jesus Christ was the Son of God and was Lord was to say that Caesar was not, fundamentally, his words eventually over the generations would then become very more Romanized with edits and further letters that are written in his name. And so Paul became very much like the poster boy for Roman religion. Right? Whether he meant to be or not, he became the poster boy for the Roman religion that became Christianity. And it is a Roman religion. And fundamentally, we have to remember that the cults and beliefs and practices and ideals of the Roman faith had been dominating and destroying cultures for generations before Christianity ever touched that scene, right? The Romans had been decimating cultures and tribes across Europe and most of the known world at that time, right? This area of the world was a hub of the Western world. And from that, we have to recognize that Rome had already been doing all this shit. They'd already been decimating cultures. But even though they were undermining cultures through conscription and adherence to, the Roman ideologies and Roman gods and Roman understandings of the world, they still had a fundamental understanding that you just added on gods, right? So if you went to a foreign land, you would potentially either worship at their altar that they had for foreign gods, so you could worship your own gods there, or you found a similar representation of their version of a deity that covered similar things, and you worshipped there and spoke to your own deity in proximity to this as kind of a mediation of speaking to the local god as a means of speaking back to your original context. There was a lot of interpersonal kind of you adapt, you talk to the local gods, you talk to the local spirits if you need to, you pay homage if you need to for the context you're in, and then you have maybe a personal altar or a personal shrine for family dealings, right? And you might even have a travel one if you are traveling. But from those things, we have a very different shift when this comes to a place of Christianity that says, this is the only way you can do this. But we're not Jewish. We're not Jewish, so we don't have this as a lineage, and we want to convert people, but we don't have, you're not born this, you have to convert. But then you have to determine, if you're converting people, at what point does a person actually become a Christian? Is it by faith? Is it by acts? Is it by anything? What exactly makes a person a Christian? And this is where we get into a lot of the problems that continue to today in terms of Christianity. Not only the fact that it's exclusivist, but the fact that it constantly can shift the goalposts on what a Christian is. And so I'll get into that more in the next video.